Yeah.
Ah!
Oh, look at you with your fancy background.
Yeah, I'm doing some training. Don't you know?
No, no, I don't.
Oh, well, now you know. And knowing is half the battle.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I just,
I do.
well, let's just dive right in. Welcome to Flamecast. Yeah, gosh, the last time I looked at the clock, it was like, you know, three, something like that. And here I'm going and getting some stuff prepared. And next thing I look at, it's like 4:11. Oh no.
That's why I was like, well, he always sends me a link, so I'm looking for the link, and I'm like, am I hallucinating? I'm not seeing nothing. I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
you're
maybe Todd's
hallucinating.
busy, so we'll let him get situated. Be patient.
Wait, I could try to go back in time and fix this with the Eye of Agamotto, but
I want to see you go ahead and do that because it's going to end badly some way, shape, or form. I'm not sure how, but I'd like to see this.
I better not. Yeah, I actually had the light on this thing for a while, and as I like hung it up in front of here, it actually went with the background because it's green, so it green screened it. I'm like, I better not have the light on. Bad things might happen.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, well, how have you been? It's been like a long time.
It's been a very long time. I'm out here in lovely Las Vegas enjoying the cool summer, the lovely dry heat. It's very nice. I like it very much.
Yes, that dry heat makes all the difference, right?
Yeah, I mean 115 dry heat. It's all right. It's spontaneously combust when you walk outside, but it's all right.
All right.
It's okay.
So you probably haven't done any like parades or anything like that in costume then.
I unfortunately was not able to make the Fourth of July parade here. So in Summerlin usually has this every year, and I did it last year, but this year just the timing did not work out. But the plus side is, we get there at like 6 a.m., so we're ready by 7 a.m. And usually we're pretty early in the process so that we can get through and get done before it really tries to melt us.
Yeah. I just can't imagine. I mean,
It's
I was never in, marching band in high school and stuff. And I look at those people and it's like, oh my God, I feel so sorry for them. That's in Minnesota.
Yeah, well, here, okay, this kind of goes back to the dry heat out here. Yeah, it is intense heat and you get warm in there, but I did one of these in Lexington, Kentucky, where it was in the 90s and yet more humidity, and
Hmm.
that was by far worse. That was so bad, and you get done with that, and literally you're peeling off like you just got out of a pool.
Yeah.
It's nasty, and those events get to be a little bit more rough, and we have folks who are doing better at paying attention to the forecasts and not putting people in those situations because you do not heat stroke is bad. Anything beyond that is worse. And frankly, it's not worth it to do that in costume.
Yeah. I would imagine. Um, well, I have some news, some cool news. Probably not
Okay,
the news you're thinking of, but
grandkids.
no. Oh my
Okay,
gosh, no.
just checking.
This is more like sci-fi related and stuff. Well, I suppose you could say some of that is too, but
I'm not.
especially the way that it might pop out of your chest or whatever. But
Mhm. We all saw V in the 80s.
yeah,
I'm just saying.
I've got the DVD copy
Mhm.
back in my library back there. um, yeah, I was looking at because okay, first of all, kind of going back a little bit, we'd heard that you know Star Trek Prodigy was being somewhat canceled
Hmm.
and removed from Paramount Plus. Although there is a second season that's supposedly ready to be shown, so who knows where it's going. And they had already had Playmates toys figures made up for some of this stuff. And I think it was in trying to figure out what was happening with those that I ran across uh, this group on YouTube where the guy and his buddy they go and review like older Playmate Star Trek toys, and they talk about the new stuff that's coming out and stuff. And it's called "Look at My Star Trek Toys." So I went and posted on their YouTube page. I'm like, yeah, this is really great for information and stuff. And yeah, if ever you want to have me on or have some of my figures and action photos on there, maybe we can work something out. And yeah, he got back to me and said, okay, send me some stuff and we'll take a look at it. And yeah, he checked it out and was like, okay, we're going to use this on one of our shows. That
Awesome.
show was actually released on YouTube just like 2 hours ago. So that was part of my distraction of not getting to you was it's like, ah. So I had to watch the
Awesome.
episode and stuff. And yeah, of course, they were only really interested in the Star Trek stuff because,
Right. That, yeah, we get it.
that's the theme of their show. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'll have to post a link in this one, talking about look at my Star Trek toys.
It's funny you bring that up because the other day I'm trying to do some condensing of stuff and eliminating extra stuff that has been sitting in boxes for several moves and whatnot. And I ran across I have a Borg action figure still in the packaging
Oh,
from many years ago.
I've noticed for the most part that Star Trek figures at some of these like toy swaps and stuff,
Mhm.
they go for about retail.
Mhm.
They they just have no value.
Nope. But it's
It's
going to
like,
be a random, awesome gift to somebody at some point. And I should have brought it to the place I go to here locally for drinks and stuff. Had a Star Trek theme last Friday because they had the big convention here in Las Vegas.
uh-huh,
And so that place was just absolutely packed. It was crazy.
nice.
But I should have brought it then just because they had a few of the actors and the talent and the writers and whatnot had come down to the bar to get a few drinks and just mingle with the crowd. It was a good time.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'll just do a quick screen share. Screen two.
Everybody's waiting in anticipation. Dun, dun,
Um,
dun. Here we go.
share. So yeah, K&M, Keith and Mike Entertainment.
Awesome.
Look at my Star Trek toys. And they have a whole section that's dedicated to me. Well, actually, my work. But yeah, Todd Platt's figures in action up there. And yeah, they go through some of them. I had sent them a few samples,
Hmm.
PDF. And yep, they went through a bunch of those. So
Awesome.
yeah,
There goes Todd making it big on the YouTubes. Bum, bum, bum,
but not
bum.
only that. So
There's a part two.
there is kind of a part two. Um, I'd gone to. Usually, I don't really use Instagram all that much.
Hmm.
It's it's usually stuff on Facebook I'm doing, or if I feel real ambitious, I try to get it over to Twitter as well. But uh, so I don't really go to Instagram all that much. But yeah, when I was contacting Keith and Mike, I was doing it initially over Instagram. And then I'm like, I think maybe I followed a link that they had, or I can't remember exactly why, but I ended up looking up Playmates Toys on Instagram,
Mhm.
and I'm like, okay, I'll just, follow their profile. It's like a day later, and then this happens, which I'll share my screen again.
Todd is on a roll at 2023.
So that, yeah, they saw my Captain Sulu one, and they're like, "Hi, our team at Playmates Toys loves this post. Could we repost it to our story and tag your account?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
Hell yes.
I haven't seen that yet. I'm still waiting. So
Hmm.
we'll kind of see what comes of that. But yeah, I was kind of surprised by that. I'm like, out of the blue. I'm like, you have a message in Instagram. I'm like, most
These
of the
things
time I
happen.
get a message in Instagram, it's like
Mhm.
people that are uh, like identity theft of people that I know on Facebook.
Mhm.
So I'm like, yeah, nothing important. Then I look into it and it's like, hmm, okay.
Yeah, I've had Instagram for a long time, and for a couple years I had like 4 posts on that. But I do use it to follow a few people who use that a lot, so I follow them. Use it for as a communication tool. But I've tried to get better, especially now since it cross links with your Facebook, so you can just post one and it'll cover on both. Um, but it's a good tool, and again it expands your reach. But now the question is, Todd, did things like this happen in threes? So what will be the third thing for you, Todd? There's going to be a third moment of glory. What will it
Um,
be?
hopefully people see those and my stats go like way up into the thousands or something.
That'd be awesome. You never know.
Yeah. Um,
All it takes is one of them to get viral.
I mean, the K&M, they've got like over 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, you never know.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, I was
Just think, Todd.
something
20
else.
years of posing your action figures for pictures has finally paid off. You're there. You're rolling into big time.
Well, if you go and um, follow along with their review of my pictures and the site, they're like, this would make an excellent like coffee table book and stuff, and they're talking about it, and I'm like, I know. I've been looking at doing this for a while now because I've got over 400 pictures online now, and I'm
So
like, it's a matter of finding the right place to do it because you look at these and it's so cost prohibitive to do it with. Okay, I'm going to do like 100 pages per book, and I could do 4 of them at this point.
right.
And it's like, you're looking at big bucks on those things, and it's like, yeah, there's got to be a better way. And I mean, they had suggested going through Amazon or Google Photos, and I'm like, okay, I'll got that in my mind now. I'll check out their prices when I can. But
Well, your bigger thing is going to be distribution. How do you get it out there? I mean that's your biggest thing is if you could convince somebody, you know, I don't even know if it'd be a Barnes and Noble anymore or somebody else to, somehow partner with you on that, that's your way in. But um again, you got a unique product that is entertaining. And again, for folks who have not seen that, it's again it's amusing the creativity that goes into that and the overall abuse of your action figures. But you roll with that one, and it could be something like I said. This could be the trifecta. Figuring out a way to get a book, a little coffee table book, manufactured, published, and out there.
it would be nice.
Hmm.
So
It's almost as good as if we would have continued on with the entire theme of Todd Goes. I mean, I really think there's an untapped market on the. I mean, I don't do Twitter, but I imagine that would be the place to do it.
yeah, we were kind of ahead of our time there.
Yes, we were.
Doing it with a uh, cumbersome video camera that's like that big, and
Hmm.
uh, well, in light of this, I did kind of put up the Patreon page again, so
There you go.
hopefully, someone sees that and decides. uh, I mean, $2 a month is the lowest. Is
Hmm.
that unreasonable? I don't think so, but and then there's $5 and there's $10 for people that want to splurge. But I'm like, you know,
That
even if
that for
someone
more
does,
risque stuff. I mean, that
yeah, I mean, for $2 a month, it would pay for one figure for the year,
mhm,
one person, or it could pay for part of my domain name for the website.
right?
I just had to pay that yesterday. I mean, I'm getting a pretty good deal on it. I'm because I'm hosting everything through Blogger, but then things I refer back to that needs images, that needs the domain out there as well. So I got domain space, but domain space is free. It's the domain name that actually cost me something.
Right.
So it's not too bad of a deal. The only thing I wish is that they do give you email accounts,
Mhm.
and I'd really like to use them, but it's like for the plan that I have, it's like, why even give me the accounts? Because I can email from those accounts, but I can't receive any email for those accounts. I'm like, what is this?
That seems a little whack. That's not
It is. I'm like, I don't get why you're even offering these. So I've never actually used them. I mean, I've tried to use them, but yeah, then I found out why are emails that I'm sending to myself, they're not reaching me. And yeah, that's what it turned out to be. Weird.
that is weird.
Um, so, anyways, if any other people are looking at this, go over to flamingdeath.net. There's a link for Patreon there. Go and sign up. You could be, oh, let's see here. I got to get back to my, where did I put it now? Wait a second. Wait a second. Come on.
Wait patient for Todd,
I
who
know.
could have been totally prepared, had all this stuff ready to go, chose not to. Risky move, Todd. Let's
I,
see
I
it's
I did
out.
have some of this stuff up, and then it was like, I got distracted. Okay, so yeah, look at that 37 posts. 37?
Wow. You're not even new. You're experienced.
And there's no one signed up yet. But I've kind of put off on putting anything else up there until I actually get some people to
Right. You got to get
subscribe.
him pulled in.
But yeah, you can be
Pilot
the
light
pilot
begin.
light,
The raging fire.
raging fire, yes. Or just a campfire. $5 a month campfire. And I should also say that I'm pretty sure that you can sign up for one, and you get to whatever limit you want to get, I guess.
Mhm.
And then you can just, you know, drop it. If you only wanted to give me $20, do Raging Fire and let it go for 2 months and then sign out of it and unjoin. So
Ooh, look at all those extra bonuses.
yeah. Um, and depending on what happens with a book idea, maybe that'll be incorporated into some of these. So I just got to see how things work out yet.
Right.
For as much as I think it would be, that's probably part of the Raging Fire. But yeah. So again, we'll have a link down there somewhere for it. Yeah. Um, let's see, to get to some of the stuff that we kind of usually get to. Um, First of all, I was looking at this like right before I realized what time it was because I was going to send you the link to the Zoom meeting here,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to send it to you know you and Wes and continue on that little thread. I'm like, I'm just going to find Travis, and I see that the last thing that you had kind of sent me was a photo of you in the Enterprise D command chair.
I don't know what you're talking about. You don't know that. Let me go back and delete that real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at our bar establishment, um, again they it's a fandom bar. So every weekend they on either Friday and Saturday they have different themes. Whatever. I mean, from anime to sci-fi, they cover the gambit. So a couple months back, they had an anniversary, the 25th anniversary for the Star Trek experience. It used to be here in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
They had the big archway in there, and they had people who had worked there. The cast members of that experience,
Yeah.
and it's hilarious because they were going through, and the entire time they were videotape or showing on the screen like the old advertisements they used to have for it, the promotional stuff, and the folks who were in those were with us in the bar. And
Mm.
you got to keep in mind again, this is from over 25 years ago that a lot of that was made, those ads. And what blew my mind though is that almost everybody who had worked there could remember and recite all the dialogue, all the lines, all the whatever they had to do to have their interactive experience with the guests. But yeah, that was awesome. So they had the command chair there. It was Picard's command chair, and it was missing a few components because it had been recently used for an event that may have been televised.
Uh-huh.
So it was just a unique experience to be able to actually sit that and like, cool, I'm in the chair. Here I
Mm.
am. So it was a fun experience. But yeah, that was out here. It is amazing to me the Star Trek fan base that you get, and a lot of it just being the long-term people that worked on that stuff, have the conventions out here. So you have a lot of diehards that are involved with that.
Yeah, they just have the creation, the big one out
Yes.
there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was last week, and that's why I said last Friday was our big night at
Yeah, that's right.
yep, where it was obscenely crazy.
Yeah, one of these times, I'll get out there. So if you got room,
Well, and
drive
I
out.
had people, even locals, went and just stayed at the hotel just because there's so much going on and
Mm.
so much fun to be had with that stuff. It's a great thing, and they had so many guests this year. I mean, from the original series to so many of the next gen, just down the line, they had a lot of guests there, which was to me is a wonderful thing because again, it's whatever show is your go to in your heart type place. You had people you could find and do photos, do whatever you wanted to do to meet those folks.
Yeah, I'd seen that. They were trying to line up that one for Chicago. Um, Gosh, when was that, in the spring or something like that? And it basically fell apart and they canceled. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's too bad, but nice to hear that it's still going strong in Vegas.
Yeah, it like again from what I can tell it was a very successful event. So the only downside again it was at the Rio, and the Rio used to be pretty awesome. It got hurt from the shutdown and whatnot, and they are still trying to recover. But I think they've got a plan to remodel and revamp that place coming up. So it was interesting because I always, for me, driving down there, Um, there's an easy exit parking ramp on the one end, so I always go to that. But that end of the hotel, and this used to be where they had like the seafood buffet that Rio had years ago. That is all that's gone. That is a store, but that end of the hotel was just dead. It was not very busy. And as you start going west in there, it started to pick up, and then you ran into the convention center where they're holding this stuff, and then just went nuts with all the Star Trek people.
Nice.
Mhm.
Uh, so I don't know if we ever brought it up on the podcast here, but so what did you think of Picard?
Okay, they ran into the Star Wars sequel problem of consistency. So for Picard season one, I thought it started off strong. It went okay. Had some moments. Season two seems to have been somewhat ignored now. um, it was all right. I wasn't a huge fan of them. Season three, I thought they did a great job. I really thought if they would have done from the get go, would have done the 3 seasons like they did third, that would have been a massive success.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause to me, season three, yeah, you're getting a little bit of fan service there, but they really broached it in a unique way. And honestly, the whole premise, um, it's been long enough. People have, if they haven't seen it yet, that's on you then. But the fact that you're talking to Picard when he became Locutus, and they did all the stuff they did to him. The fact that you don't think about genetic manipulation. Yeah, they did the implants and they did all that stuff and whatnot. Um, but the fact that doing a manipulation like that, so that if you were to have offspring, you've now got a potential Borg drone convert, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was just a unique premise, and the fact of bringing in some of the other factions, to work with that in a way. Again, I did a good job with that. I think they did all right, and I was entertained. I thought season three was worth it.
Yep, I totally agree. I had a lot of fun watching that one. That was one where it was you were just waiting for what was it? Was it on Thursdays? Thursday or Fridays?
Yeah, I think it was like Fridays would like air Thursday, midnight or whatever. But
Yeah. That was one to wait for all the time.
Nope, you are correct. Of course, now I'm sucked into Strange New Worlds.
Yep, I was just going to bring that up. And they just had their finale
Yeah.
week, so I've been assuming you've watched that already.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. I've been, just sucked into that as well, where it's like, you kind of hate to go online and see people just trashing it. Then
No,
where it's
that
like,
is good. That's good Trek.
it is. It is.
I think they did a great job casting. I think, the stories. I mean, I am not a person who does musicals. Okay, that's just whatever. And
Yep.
last week they did a musical, and to me the whole point was you wrote it in a way that worked. It
Right.
wasn't just because the crew is going to break out singing. That you had a scientific methodology, whether it's made up or not, but you presented something of how and why this could be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was emotional, entertaining. I mean, it was a good episode. And I think people are cutting it short when you're mad about whatever you want to be mad about with that show. But it's good stuff, and
It
I think
is.
again, like the story writing. You get some, we get some conflict now with the way things were in the original series. Guys, 50 years ago. Let them write a story for a new generation of people. Enjoy it for the story.
Yeah. And I had to break out laughing when the Klingons did their boy band. Right.
Yep. Yep. That was just you. I mean, it was slightly disturbing. I will put that out there. It was slightly disturbing.
It was kind of funny though, because they're panning to the crew's reactions, and you got Sam Kirk in the background kind of going like, and then all of a sudden he's like,
Yeah.
he's getting into it. It's like, yeah.
Here's the funny part is one of our locals, name is Justin. He's pretty awesome. He looks like Sam Kirk. It is. I mean, we're all sitting there and we're just like, once it was brought up, it's like, no, you have to do the costume now because he looks so freakishly close. So yes,
Yeah.
that is our goal. We're gonna dress him up.
Nice. Yeah, some of the other stuff I've been watching here. All of this is like come and gone already, but I'm always a fan of Black Mirror on Netflix.
Okay. I have not started that one.
I would say do it. It's kind of like a cross between. I suppose you could say it's kind of like Outer Limits in a way, because it's kind of like Twilight Zone, but it's all like technology based.
Okay.
Except for this last season, which kind of disappointed me. I mean, I don't think any of the. I'd have to go back and look again, but I don't think any of the episodes really had a technology driven story.
Huh.
Which is a total departure from everything they've done before. So I'm like, what's the deal here?
I could understand mixing it up, but if you just whipped out your entire season going a different methodology, it's. But I mean, what if it's something you had new writers or producers or something that changed in between season? I guess that's how that happens.
It's just like the whole premise of the show just kind of took a turn there.
Mm.
So I mean, it was decent, but it just wasn't what I was expecting anymore. So
Yeah, and then again, that's one thing about like show like that. They make the departure. Well, you can stop watching. They'll get the hint.
mm-hmm. Speaking of people stopping watching, Secret Invasion came out. That one I actually watched through it all, but it was a hard one to get through.
Yes.
I I mean the buildup seemed slow, and then once it got there, it seemed really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see this basically superhero supervillain fight at the end that lasts like 5 minutes, and then it's done.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I don't know.
And I get that they were probably following something from the comic books with all that, but to me it was just I don't know. It didn't have the energy level. I mean,
No,
you got
no.
Sam Jackson there. I mean, he seemed just quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I don't know if it's going to expand out into the greater universe with what they've done. I mean, it could, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. But
You could look at the end of this and say the only thing that's really changed is that his wife is up on the ship with him now.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's like, well, I mean, there is.
and we have a super mega scroll.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, you've got her out there too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been other things they've done where it's like they go and hint at something and then it's never followed up on.
Right.
Especially with some of these things that they have as post-credit scenes.
Well, I go back to the whole point that you had Agents of Shield. That TV show started off so awesome, involved in the timeline, whatever, and then it just went bleh, and I'm like, you have potential you wasted there that could have been brought into some of this stuff, and we're not doing it, which is
Yeah.
disappointing.
Because there is people that are like, you should bring in Quake
Mm-hmm.
last episode or something like that, and they don't even really acknowledge it anymore.
Right. And to me, that's a shame. That's a waste.
Yeah.
You know?
Um, there was one show that there's only 4 episodes, but it was viewing on the CW. I don't know if you've seen anything about this, but it's called Greatest Geek Year Ever, 1982.
Okay, I have not seen this.
Um, you might want to check that out because I mean they go through a bunch of the movies that came out like that year or specifically that summer, and it's like, oh my god, there was like a ton of great movies that came
Mm-hmm.
out that year, and yeah, it's mainly centered on the movies that came out because yeah, you've got Wrath of Khan, you've got Tron, you've got ET. It just keeps going, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, wow.
Well, and here's the thing that a lot of people don't recognize is how many of those are rewatchable.
Oh yeah, they
You
even
know?
uh, kind of get into that in the show as well. It's like, you know, a lot of these are just totally rewatchable, and yeah. Who was it that was? I can't remember if it was on the show or if it was on another podcast I was watching. I think it might have been actually on the show because they were saying, okay, who won for Best Picture for that year? And it was Gandhi, and they're like, you're choosing Gandhi over ET? It's like, which
Mhm.
one is rewatchable? Which one are you going to go back and watch?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not going to be Gandhi, but ET is like totally rewatchable. You can watch that all the time.
Well, I've gotten in discussion over the years a few times with folks that the people making those decisions are uppity little, snots
Hmm.
that feel like they're the most intelligent person on watching a film, and they're watching it based on whatever imaginary criteria they have from watching plays in the 1800s and or earlier, even farther back. I mean, it's like you have to understand that the crowd. There's a reason why some of these movies are successful. There is something about them that drives you on to want to see them. And you look at a lot of just using the Marvel universe. Okay, can you see anybody else other than Robert Downey Jr. doing Iron Man?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, how do you successfully cast that? And you're like, he is Iron Man. He is Tony Stark. That is his persona. You
Mhm.
got Chris Evans, and you think of all the things you've seen Chris Evans do before that. From the I can't remember the teen comedy movie where he's the jock and whatever else. Not another teen movie, I think it was.
Okay.
And you see him from that, and then all of a sudden you put him in as Captain America. And we've seen multiple Captain Americas from our younger days when various shows and scrub movies that they've done. But right now, I mean, you look at that, Chris Evans, he's Captain America. I see him in other movies and he does a great job. He's a great actor, but he's Captain America. And how do you not recognize these shows that have, huge success? People love these shows. You have casting that was immaculate. You have actors who make you believe that's who they are, that's their character, and you can't hand them an award.
Yeah. Hold that thought. I think it might be time for a
Uh,
Star Wars counter commercial.
Intruders in Cloud City! Touchdown and investigate!
From Kenner's Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back collection, Twin Pod Cloud Car.
Bespin Guard, who is she?
I'm Princess Leia. I'm being followed, Lando.
Quick, get in!
Lando Calrissian and other action figures each sold separately. You can open and close both cockpits and push the landing gear up.
Don't worry, they'll never catch you now.
Twin Pod Cloud Car from Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back collection. Action figures each sold separately. From Kenner.
So that was the Twin Pod Cloud Car.
I had that doing.
My younger brother Ryan had it. Um,
It was the least usable toy.
yeah, yeah.
It always crashed.
It's too bad they didn't make it where it could like separate in two. So you like if he had a real crash, you could one side is like, oh, that guy's dead. You can keep going.
No, I believe in the buddy system because if it was you and me in the car, I'm taking you with me, Todd.
Okay. Uh, but okay. Getting back to kind of what we were discussing there about as far as let's see, where was it? The jumping over the Greatest Geek Year and back to Secret Invasion. We were kind of talking about Samuel Jackson just kind of a little lifeless in that role.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a movie that I saw just not too long ago where the main character was as well just a little more lifeless than he used to be in his role. And I'm talking about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I mean, I think its issue is that throughout the previous movies, it didn't seem to matter like, the peril or what was going on. It always seemed like he had a fun time doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this movie, he's just he's a grumpy old man. Yes. Where he's like, tired with life. At the end, he actually wants to die.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I mean, yeah, you could look at, Luke with a sequel trilogy where, certain things happened where it changed him forever. He's not the same person. And that one I could go along with. And, the rationale was perfectly explained in those movies. But this one, it's like, okay, yeah, you lost your kid, you lost your wife. But I think it's a little more too relatable to people in this galaxy. I don't know. I mean, it was all right, but it just didn't feel the same.
No, and it goes back to a discussion I had on it is you're bringing in new characters to establish a supposed long-term relationship that had never been exposed in the other movies, and want us to make to believe that this was a quasi family type, passing of the torch, if you will, and the discussion always got to be is why didn't you bring back Short Round?
Mm-hmm.
That actor is still prevalent. He's still doing things. He recently got awarded for some of his work. Why didn't you have him be the partner to Indy to do this send off and leave it? Whereas then he could be picking up, being the next archaeologist or whatever it might be.
I think
Yeah.
I think for that that's more explained by. I mean, he wasn't doing any acting up until Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Mm-hmm.
And those people brought him back into acting again. I think by that time they probably had filmed a bunch of the movie already by that point. So it was
Right.
like you would have had to do a lot of reshoots, I think.
Right, but
And alter the story. So
my thing is that you're doing an Indiana Jones movie. Okay. You're making it your big send off. Why are you not considering that part of it? I mean, it goes back when we talk about that. I got in this discussion last night on the Star Wars sequels. You come in here and you make it again. Luke is sad and hidden because of this tragedy or whatever. But we saw Luke in the face of tragedy of his aunt and uncle getting murdered in front of him finding out his dad is Darth Vader, going through all the trauma that he went through, and he still stood up for what was right, and going to complete his goal. And yes, you magically just destroy his entire village of students and whoever else that were not able to stop, the one angry kid. Because keep in mind the way it was played out, because at one point they showed, Kylo Ren with his Knights of Ren, and then when they actually showed him getting mad because, Luke was thinking about, killing him in his sleep, it was just him. So, I'm still a little bit salty on the way they wrote that out for the sequel, and instead of actually utilizing what they should have with their ability to pull in the talent.
One thing I just thought of there was that, those earlier instances that he has in his life, it was mainly affecting him.
Right.
But now he's responsible for messing up someone else's life and their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what pushes him over the edge. It's like he's directly responsible for this happening now, and he feels like crap about it because
right. but it goes back to my thing is, how is he directly responsible? He did not push Ben into being in
well, yeah, that's true.
Influence. He failed to properly recognize the threat, and I get that, but old Luke, or I should say young Luke,
yeah,
okay, he learned about not recognizing the threat and rose up above that. And again, it's just, to me, it's they wanted to write in a new generation of Star Wars people to to fall in love with and believe, whatever. I'm all for that. But when you actually showed Mandalorian season 2, episode 8, you bring back a Jedi, you show him what a Jedi is capable of, and you find out that it is Luke Skywalker who's capable of doing it. And you still see fan videos of reaction to that reveal. And as pointed out in many of those, that's what we deserved in the sequel movies. We got nothing like that. But that's what we deserved, is even if it was Luke going angry and going a little bit overboard, Luke with his full power just, making a path. It's something that they, for whatever reason, didn't want to consider for the sequel movie. So and it's a shame.
Yeah.
No.
I hear a dog behind me.
Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting for him to just jump up on, tackle you, and you go screaming as he drags you off the screen.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think it would be entertaining for our audience to,
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. This is Wicket we're talking about. He's I can't get both my fingers in there. About that tall. And also, speaking of disappointing movies, the only thing The Flash was good for was bringing back Michael Keaton's Batman.
I'm telling everybody it's the best Batman sequel I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I 100% Michael Keaton nailed it. They did great with his specific character, and I really think they could have done a movie on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a hit. The rest of it,
I don't know if you've heard, what I can't remember who had told Kevin Smith about it, but they were like, yeah, if the movie does well, there's a good chance we can do a Batman Beyond movie.
right?
And no, that's not going to happen.
and to me, that's what's unfortunate, because again,
that's what they should have done to begin with.
Well, Warner Brothers isn't understanding what worked in that movie. They're just looking at the dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of analyzing and getting feedback on what worked in that movie. Michael Keaton coming back as Batman, the way he did, worked. do something with that.
Hmm.
Even if it's just one movie, and Keaton doesn't want to do it again, but give him one big, Batman Beyond movie or whatever it is to do that, because the guy, even at his age, and yeah, there's a lot of stunt people involved with it, but he still looked and felt the part.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess yeah.
Oh, no diamond, Todd.
Let me
No diamond. There you go.
sip down some
Juice.
pure vodka or something.
Mm.
um yeah, besides the story kind of being really iffy, I really don't care for Ezra Miller as a Flash. Grant was a much better Flash.
Grant Gustin, 100%. Bring him back. Let him do it.
Yeah.
Let him do the next movie.
And then get a different special effects team, because that whole first 15 minutes was like, yeah, those are total. They're not going to throw out real babies out of a window, but my God, you could do a better job of making them look real.
Yeah.
And the other part that people complain about is the when he's in the Speed Force and everyone looks kind of fakish, but that can kind of be explained by the effects of the Speed Force, because even people that like his father and stuff, you see them in the Speed Force and they don't look quite right.
Right.
Where they could have just used the actual actor as he is, but then he'd look out of place because everyone else looked kind of fake. So
yeah, the Speed Force views on her, I'm going the whole point of you're in there, it's in the moment, you are looking at multiple whatever, there's distortion.
Yeah.
And that part did not bother me as much, but
yeah,
I can get where some people were, like I said, for the other special effects, yeah, it was for as long as you had to fine tune that, and that's still what you came back with. I'm guessing at some point money became an issue.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that too. One movie I did see recently that was pretty decent, though. I did see Oppenheimer.
Okay.
I don't know if you got a chance to see that one yet.
I have not gotten a chance to see that one yet. I've heard good things.
Yep. It's it's like almost 3 hours long, but it doesn't seem like 3 hours. For a non-action movie, did not seem like it's 3 hours long. They're doing
Pretty
something
solid.
right there. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I would suggest that one. And then last but not least, you've got the Barbie movie. And I didn't see that one.
I was talked into going to see that movie.
Oh!
and I think I maybe saw one commercial, but
Okay.
I had a group of folks who wanted to go see it because it seems to be popular. I will say I have not laughed that hard in a long time. There are parts of that movie, some of the funniest stuff that I have seen in a long time. So to me, that one was also worth it. It was worth seeing on there because there's so much going on with that movie. It's just, entertaining.
My girls have seen it twice now.
Oh dear God.
Shelby came back the first time and she's like, I laughed, I cried. What is the thing that they said back? Wasn't it a movie quote? It's like, I laughed, I cried, I did something else. I can't remember what it was, but
I laughed, I cried, I kissed my money goodbye. But there's some of that.
That was it. Yeah, that third part wouldn't apply, but
it's flexible. You could find other things for your third part as suits your situation.
yeah, there you go. But I don't see myself going to the theater to see it, but I'll most likely catch it when it comes online somewhere.
Do we need to tell your girls to take you to the theater to see it so they can see the third time and you can be entertained?
I mean, I could have gone today, but they just got back like what 30 minutes ago or so,
Ah.
maybe an hour.
Yeah, I would say to anybody, if you haven't seen it, I mean, Oppenheimer again, I heard great things about it. I don't say blessed, but just over the years of always reading stuff, I'm familiar with the program and what that was about. So I wasn't like gotta go see it in the theater, but I might still go just because I know it's still showing. But Barbie was also entertaining, and to me, that was worth the money. I will say it. That movie was worth the money. So
Good to know. I'll have to definitely bring it up when it comes up on one of the streaming services. In the meantime, um, yeah, I did a trip to Rochester and 2 Goodwills and 1 Savers later. Yeah, I've got like a stack. so, so this is what I'm going to be watching here pretty soon, is to go through some of these. But I finally, at some point, ended up getting American Graffiti.
okay, good one.
You're going to be kind of shocked, but I have not seen this movie. This has been out since 1984.
Let's see.
Children of the Corps.
I don't know that you should watch that movie, Todd.
I mean, I suppose it was pretty terrifying for you since you kind of lived out in the country there.
When you live out in the country, and I saw it back in the 80s, we don't go into the corn.
We've got another 80s movie, Inner Space.
Okay. I think I saw that back in the 80s, but
I don't think I've seen that one either, actually. I saw this, I just had to get it. Monty Python's and Now for Something Completely Different. So it's kind of like a best of.
okay. I want to say I think I've seen that at some point.
You know, they had. I'm kind of interested to see it just to see if it matches with what I recorded off of TV like back in the 80s. Because they went through a bunch of the best of skits and yeah, some of them I see yeah, of course they're going to be the same ones, at least
Right.
some of them. But if it's all of them and they have a little intro and the ending thing, then it's like, okay, I've actually got this on VHS somewhere. And last but not least, I got the collector's edition of Predator.
Ooh.
So I haven't seen that one in a long time.
Yeah, no, it's been many, many, many years.
So yeah, speaking of movies, well, there's a short movie that's going to be our fan film of the month. Ta-da! So if you ended up watching I think it was the last one, last podcast we did, that was between myself and Chris. We went through a bunch of fan films, Star Wars, Marvel. I think, yeah, we had some Star Trek in there too. There's the For the Empire series, and we went through season 1. There is a season 2 out there. They haven't put all of these episodes together yet, so they're still separate. But the first one they did, the first or second one they did for season 2 is called the Tantive 4. So you've got these same 2 stormtroopers again. That, you know, you've got the wisecracking one, you've got the serious one, and yeah, they're God, it's been so long since I've seen it now. I gotta rewatch it, but It's using not people in costumes. It's using the Unreal Engine
Okay.
and getting those stormtroopers and scenery that way. But it's still great stuff.
Add that to the list.
So that one is done by AFK Productions. So we'll have a link for you on that one.
Okay.
Also, let's see, we've got I was mentioning at the start of the show that I hope the stats go up. I went and checked. Well, I'm going to recheck here. Just today, it's gone up 150 people. So,
wow. Look at you're on your way. You're on your way.
Yeah, let's get that graph more of a point than just a slope. We need to make known you can go to the Flaming Death stock room.
Dun dun dun.
Buy some stuff. Mainly t-shirts. I do have stickers there too. These are just the different logos, but if you click on them, you can see. Let's see. Let me go back. You can throw your sticker on there. Oh, shop all products. There we go. So we've got the badge. You can throw the badge on phones. You can buy a button. Just get a sticker. Yeah, all the cases that you can get with them. Let me go back here. So let's look at.
Just as a personal reminder, if you do get the t-shirt, such as this, I do not recommend wearing that if you're going on a plane ride.
Yeah, that might be a problem. It was funny, the one time I was sending something out, I went to the post office and the return address was Flaming Death Productions. I'm like, is there anything flammable in here? I'm like, no.
Uh-huh.
Believe me, no, it's not that. Yeah, you can
Your friend makes the news in the most interesting ways.
Random person here, but you can get different colors. See how some of this stuff looks. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Get them in different colors and go with it, whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can get the white lettering. You can get the black lettering. If we go back to the figures in action. Oh yeah, you can do it here too. So get your purple shirts. That looks cool. Come on, people. In addition to that, though, you see the prices there, but starting tomorrow and going for, I think it's a week, 30% off.
There you go.
Oh, 30% off, people. Check it out. All right, now that I've made my sales pitch, oh, some other events coming up. We've got a few months until these happen, but October is going to be here before you know it. So the first weekend in October, you've got Nerdin' Out Con 5 in Rochester. You've also got Fall Con, which is in the cities. That's more of a comic-based one.
Okay.
Lots of comics dealers there. And that one, I think I actually have a couple of free passes to get in. So,
boom, there you go. Do it.
And then the weekend after that is Twin Cities Con, of course, in the Twin Cities. Yeah, imagine that. Twin Cities Con in
Burnsville.
No, but that one looks like it's going to be really nice because I'm just looking at some of the guests that they're having. It's like, oh wow, they've got Jason Lee. They've got um, a bunch of the View Askew people. They've got
Mhm.
oh shoot, I can't even think of them all. Plus, it's been a while since I looked at the list, but every once in a while on Facebook, they'll post another one, and it's like, I can't believe this person is going to be there now. And it's like they're making it where I have to go.
I mean, could be worse things. Could be worse things.
The only thing is, I used up a lot of my money that I was kind of putting aside for things like this to happen. I used it on buying a different scooter. So, but
We all make choices, Todd.
yeah, but I upgraded from a 400cc scooter to 600cc's.
Okay.
It does not have the battle damage that my other one had. Yeah, the only thing that I've been running into is in the starter switch on the handlebar, there's a wire that I've had to solder this thing in like 3 times now. But yeah, initially it came off and it's like, I have no headlights. I have no regular light. I have no high beams, and the dashboard light for the high beams would not come on. So I'm like, okay, either it's a fuse or something else. And because it's not one of the individual lights, that's just way too much of a coincidence that all 3 would go out at the same time. But yeah, I looked online and some guy's like, oh yeah, I opened up the starter switch and yeah, there's a loose wire in there. I'm like, yeah, I open it up, same thing. So
you've had to solder that back 3 times?
well, the spot where it's supposed to solder into is really tough to try to get to, especially with my soldering iron. And because mine's, it's got to be like a 1/4 inch thick, trying to get that down into there, and it's kind of rough. But I think this last time I finally have it. So we'll see. Otherwise, I'm like, I'm gonna have to start sticking the soldering gun, extension cord, and some solder into my travel section of the bike.
Be prepared.
Yeah, because yeah, the first time I noticed it, we were up in Duluth, and we had just had supper, and we had like an hour to go back to the cabin yet. And it's like, oh, you do not have any headlights. I'm like, really? And I'm like, okay, we could, screw around with it here and try to get it to work. But we've got like 2 hours before it starts getting dark where, it's going to be a factor if I don't have a headlight. So yeah, there was 3 of us, Rachel, her brother, and myself. And yeah,
You all had scooters?
well, they've got actual motorcycles. I've got a scooter that's almost a motorcycle. So, oh, shut up. But anyways, yeah, I ended up taking the middle position.
When you guys are driving, is it like
it's more like hey, what can I say?
Well, I mean, I'm curious why you don't have a motorcycle as well then. I mean,
well, I thought about doing it, but me and manual transmissions do not go together.
gotcha. Okay.
So
That's a fair point.
I was looking at getting a Honda Rebel, which the 1100s, the more recent ones, you can switch between manual and automatic.
Okay.
Only thing is, price tag, you're looking at about 10,000. So
How fast can your scooter go?
this thing can do 90 easily.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So that's speed's not an issue, and I mean it keeps up with everyone and
Yeah.
works just like a motorcycle, other than it's
Other
automatic
than
and not manual.
random headlight issues and whatnot.
Yeah, but compared to some of the other issues that Rachel's had with previous motorcycles,
Oh yeah.
I'm getting off easy on my issues. So,
Yeah, I've seen plenty of those with especially out here at the environment and just how people drive out here. The people I know that have motorcycles are like very conscientious of safety and like to just leave and go out, outside the city limits to go drive, and
yeah,
just because it's so crazy out here.
I mean, even in Rochester, it's like I don't really trust the other drivers there. I mean, them I trust a little more than going up to the cities. Cities, I will not do that.
No.
No. But yeah, I try to take back roads as much as I can. And Rochester is pretty easy to do.
What you need is one of those new hover motorcycles. Have you seen those things? So
Mm.
it looks like a drone. So they got the four blades.
Ah,
It's like a motorcycle chassis and flying, and it's
so
very
we haven't
impressive.
gotten the flying car, but we've gotten the flying motorcycle.
You are correct, sir.
What is
Yeah.
this? Galactica 1980?
No, no, these actually work when look better. Yes.
Okay.
Other than I am a little bit unnerved that you're on the motorcycle with actual blades spinning at your body level. A
Yeah, that might be kind of iffy.
little unnerving.
Yeah.
But we still got the jetpack guys making improvements on his system yet. So jetpacks could still be happening.
Yeah. In my area, I probably wouldn't want to do that. Not with Mayo One helicopter flying above our town all the time. That
It
could
is
get
a
ugly.
challenge.
Wait, is that a guy up there? Wait, hold
Oh
back. Oh, wait.
God.
Chopper goes through. Yeah. uh, well, um, I've tried to get some participation on this, but I haven't seen any yet. And the last time I had to come up, no, last two times maybe, I had to come up with one myself for burning questions segment of the podcast.
Mhm.
So since you're so involved with 501st, we'll put it to you. Out of all your costumes you have, what would be your favorite?
That depends. It's not a straightforward answer, and a lot of people tell you this.
Okay.
One moment. I will say for my TIE fighter pilots, for sheer comfort, those are great. I like the look of them. Easy to handle, easy to transport, all that good stuff. But I have my tank commander. It's a Rogue One costume. I like the look of that one. That's one of my favorites that's available. So that's why I did that one. So push come to shove, I would do tank commander whenever I can. But if I actually want to, if it's a comfort issue, either a transport issue or whatnot, then my TIE pilot's the way to go.
Okay. I will let you know, speaking of your tank commander costume, that I did recently acquire a Black Series figure of one of the tank commanders, and which will be seen in Figures in Action in a soon to be released production,
There you go.
whose name is Travis.
Dun, 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 dun. If you got the Toys R Us one and he doesn't have the gray stripes, that's just the tank driver.
Hmm.
That's my friend Don. He drives the tank. You have to paint the little gray stripes on there.
Uh,
There you go. All
well, we're gonna call him Travis anyways.
right, that's fine.
Otherwise, it screws up all my. No.
Right. I'm just here to help you be as accurate as possible.
And it might be an ongoing series too, so you might see it more than
Sweet.
once. So,
All right.
yeah. And some people got a sneak peek of another figure that I acquired, where I took some parts of one figure and combined them with parts of another figure, and we have Darth Smiley.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think I've got him written into anything yet, but he's ready and available.
He's like Darth Jar Jar scary. I mean, people don't realize that, but he's that level.
Yeah, the funnest part about the Star Wars Celebration in Chicago was scaring little kids as Darth Smiley. Just looked down at him and like, yeah, they kept their distance, hid behind their parents. It was great.
I often point this out, and it's more when I'm in my TIE pilot stuff. You have little kids who love you and want to come give you a hug and be with you, and you have other ones that will scream and do not want anything to do with you. I mean,
well, you're just like Santa Claus then.
kind of, yeah. I mean, it's very close to that, but yeah, it is. It's always funny when we see that because we've got some techniques to try and downplay whatever, but you have to quickly assess to the point of I'm just backing away, backing away, just backing away. Let the kid calm down.
Nice. All right. Yeah, really quick. One thing that because we had Minnesota Con back in June, and I was talking with the people at the 501st booth there and kind of telling them about my Jedi costume. And they're like, you should totally join the Rebel Legion.
Right. You should.
But I still haven't really done anything with that yet, but I've got it in the back of my mind. It's like, I need to get better pictures of myself in the costume and make sure everything's kosher. And because it kind of sounds like they're a little more lenient as far as
if you're not doing a named character,
right,
a lot more leniency. But I will say this, double check your belt. That is usually the bigger issue is your belt. Does your belt fit the standards that they've established? So you go on their website and look it up on it, and it'll give you the details on there. But otherwise, your costume is very solid, so you should not have too much of an issue with that.
All right. So maybe someday I'll end up joining.
Do it, Todd. Right. Do it.
Otherwise, I think we're about to the end here. And
well, I will say this.
Out of time, anyways.
Almost. But a special call out because I saw the pictures a few weeks ago. 501st folks were in our hometown of Fairmont at the Opera House. They were showing a movie, and they were there in kit supporting that. And a lot of them drove in from had a bit of a drive to get there and participate. But it was cool to watch them at the Opera House, and you see the picture because obviously we know the town, and I wish obviously I was close enough to also do that, but it is what it is.
All right. So for Flamecast this month, I'm Todd Platts,
and I'm Travis Buckmeyer.
That way. Wow, how did I do that? This is Flamecast, and that's a wrap.